BF of 4 years cheated entire relationship, just found out, how to recover. Hello fellow Redditors, I am here looking for any advice possible. My long distance relationship, me 31F and him 33M, just ended in the most dramatic and difficult way possible. We have been long distance for the past 2 years as he has been doing a traveling job as a chef. I've trusted him completely for the entirety of the relationship. We had our ups and downs, but I was incredibly dedicated and faithful to him and believed we would be together forever. Quarantine has been hard on both of us with him in Chicago and me in Seattle. We were unable to spend it together because I have 2 dogs and he was still working in Chicago. We went a straight 7 months without seeing each other but communicated non-stop. Surprisingly, it was the best 7 months our relationship has seen since being apart. We were so close, or so I thought. We had decided around July after a long conversation that it was finally time to close the gap and have me move to Chicago. I told him I couldn't spend any more time away from him, and with his job finally being in one place and not touring, he agreed. I flew to Chicago and we spent a week looking for a new home together. It was great. I returned to Seattle and started making plans, finding a job, a home, a ceramics class, all in Chicago. I booked movers, told my landlord, everything to set myself up for the transition. We finally found a place to rent, together, by September and planned my move for October 1st. I spent so much time packing and planning. Moving across the country is a lot of work and I did it alone. He became a bit removed, but he also started online school at the time, so I thought he was just stressed. September 30th rolls around, the movers show up and pack everything into the truck. Boyfriend was arriving that night and we would drive across the country the next day together. He texts as usual that morning and says he's headed to work. I'm busy all day and finally call him at the end of the day when he should be getting to the airport. He doesn't answer and promptly call me back 5 minutes later and reveals the news he isn't coming, and he says the worst possible thing he could do is allow me to move across the country to Chicago. He breaks up with me, all in a 20-minute phone call, then blocks my number and tells me to essentially leave him alone. No explanation given. I'm completely devastated, lost, confused, alone, and full of emotion. I frantically call my sister who lives in Texas to console me and help. She's a few months pregnant but doesn't hesitate to hop on a plane the next day with her husband to fly to Seattle to help me. They decide it's best to drive me back to their home in Dallas where we can figure out what I will do with my life next. I have no home, no belongings, no job, nothing left. Finally, after a full month of not responding to me besides a text here and there, the ex-boyfriend resurfaces in a response to my sad breakup email I sent him a few days after the phone call where he broke it off. He says he was unfaithful emotionally and physically the entirety of our 4-year relationship. He confesses to sleeping with multiple girls. He says he's downplayed our relationship to everyone because he was just never really sure what he wanted to do with his life. But at the same time he didn't want to lose me. Essentially, I'm devastated. I need help. I've decided to move to Nashville to start clean, but how do I rebound emotionally? How do I ever start another relationship and fully trust again? I feel like the last 4 years of my life are a complete lie. He tore me apart financially and emotionally. How do I cut him out of my life completely? And finally, how do I ever trust another guy again? Any advice on where to go from here is appreciated. Too long didn't read. LDR boyfriend of 4 years broke up with me the day before I was moving to be with him, after giving my entire life away to move. Just found out he cheated on me the entire time. You talk to a lawyer. He made promises and cost you thousands of dollars. He owes you for his deception. Definitely. Are you able to get your stuff back? Question mark. Your op says no belongings, so I'm worried about that. I'm so sorry. This is tragic and you did not deserve this. Take it one day at a time. Talk with those close to you and take care of yourself. Something that helped me a lot is meditation. I just sit still with my eyes closed and slowly breathe in through my nose, out through my mouth. Whenever I'm doing that, the pain stops and I feel peaceful. Another thing that helps is journaling. Write down all the things you are feeling. Write down all the hurt, all the grief, even all the good times you remember. Allow yourself to feel it. You've been put through a lot from no fault of your own. Anyone who tells you it's been long enough or just get over it is wrong. You'll heal at your own pace. Don't ask why. There's no reason other than he is a selfish, garbage person. Trying to figure it out does not help. There is no explanation that will help. Once you have healed, you'll be able to find an amazing partner who does not hurt you. Until then, focus on the little things in life. Nashville is about today I fucked up area. Take in the nature, watch the sunset, meet new people. Know how it feels to give up your life for someone only to experience the utmost betrayal. You'll get through this one day at a time. I am so sorry. Just know that everything will be okay. I'm sorry op. I went through something quite similar. Cheated on, job lost, home lost, pet lost, etc. It took me a week, but I decided to do the right thing for myself, which was to take a hard, deep look at who I was and who I wanted to be. I spent the next 3 months closing the gap. This was the most painful time of my life, but after month 1 of intense work on myself I became happier, I forgave myself and I started to like myself. Month 2 things improved, new friends, new place, new hope, and by the end of month 3 I was happier than I had ever been in my life. So my suggestion to you is the same. You have about today I fucked up a clean slate to make yourself and your life whatever you want it to be. As a side note, I refused to date during this period because I know myself. Having someone else would distract me and make me want to please them instead of focusing on myself. Secondly, the kind of person I wanted to be wasn't one who would bring emotional baggage into a new relationship. I know this is probably a small consolation, but at least he was honest in the end. You have no reason to pine for him. He made it so very easy to hate him. That being said, I can imagine this is still incredibly difficult for you. Don't replay the sweet parts of your relationship in your head. Don't allow yourself to wander deep in the night about who he was with, what he did and how it happened. That will torture you. Do go over some of the relationship with a fine-tooth comb to see the red flags you missed. Did you ever put in more effort than him? Were there times where you just had a gut feeling? If you can't remember anything, don't beat yourself up. It happens to the best of us. Sometimes we just get played by the people we love who are supposed to love us. You did nothing wrong. You were vulnerable, open-hearted and kind. That's how you're supposed to be in a relationship. And you know what? That's how you will be in relationships moving forward. Why? Because with true vulnerability comes the greatest rewards. It's how you fall in love again. It's how you find the one. It's how you forgive yourself. It's how you forgive him. It's how you move on and live the best life you can. My grandma once told me Nashville is the city of music and pure love. Pure love. Be that in the friends you make, or the person you meet who makes you believe again. May you find the purest love there is. Blessed be. You take it one breath at a time. You will get through this. You will be stronger. You will find the right person. Just give yourself time to mourn and know this, he is an asshole. I'm 44, so lonely, but I'm not sure if I should bother trying to get into a relationship due to having cancer. Sorry if this all sounds lame, but it's where I'm at and I have nobody to talk to about this, so I could use some outside opinions. In short, I found out last year that my wife of over 20 years was having a long-term affair. Totally crushed me, ended our marriage. Then COVID hit, and I lost my job. Like a lot of people, found a new job to pay the bills, trying to get back on my feet, and then boom, cancer. Fuck me. In a 1-year span I lost everything that I held dear. Now the icing on the cake is that I'm incredibly lonely and I have nobody to talk to about this. Nobody to snuggle, nobody to tell me that it'll be okay. I feel that I can't do this on my own. I'm feeling that I need someone in my life to help me keep it together, but not sure if that's fair to a future partner. Should I be trying to date? Are there people out there who would even want to be messed up in a relationship like this? Too long didn't read. I've got more baggage than Delta Airlines, a disease that could kill me, and a busted heart that needs some TLC. I could really use a partner, but not sure if that's a good idea right now. F-man, your spirit animal is a fucking lion on steroids or Godzilla. Hearing about your struggle makes me sad and I can't say anything more than I hope you will push through. I don't know if could manage what you have done. Thanks, but in fairness I don't know if I can handle it either. I'm a nurse and I have had a lot of patients who have severe lifelong illnesses, cancer, disabilities, you name it, and who have found loving partners who stay with them until the end, show up to treatments, even physically help them with unimaginable things like colostomies. I know of patients who found their partners after getting a poor diagnosis. There is a lot of bad in the world, a lot of selfishness, but there is also good. There are good people who will love you regardless. It's never a bad time to find love. Even if you don't find the one, you might make some good friends along the way. I'm not crying, you're crying! Exclamation mark. You absolutely deserve love and should go out there and find it. Being honest and open about your diagnosis will weed out anyone that you might not want to put the time and effort into. You can absolutely look for love, but it's worth also reaching out to friends right now. I don't know if you can snuggle, given COVID and maybe personal preference, but they can definitely talk with you, build you up, comfort you, and tell you it'll be okay. Yeah, turns out they aren't as supportive as I'd hoped. I'm tired of calling people who don't call back. Yes, you can date. Just let your potential partners know what's going on. You having cancer doesn't mean you can't find someone else. Marriage lacking intimacy. Really confused at times. Marriage lacking intimacy. How do I change it? I apologize in advance if I rattle on too much. So here goes. I, 27F, am married since February of this year. It was an arranged marriage and it has been going okay so far. My husband, 30M, works a lot and since lockdown his workload has increased significantly. We live with my mother-in-law. So far it's okay at best. The main issue is, as the title states, there is no intimacy. By intimacy I don't mean sex. There's plenty of that, but outside of sex it's like I'm almost invisible. He doesn't seem to acknowledge me outside the bedroom, and even if he does, it's to point out what I'm doing wrong around the house. Sometimes even I get confused as to what the state of the relationship is. Am I his wife or a servant for the house who he fucks occasionally? I don't even know what to communicate to the guy. I want a little hug here and there. A sneaky kiss once in a while. Something sweet. Am I asking for a lot? I don't know. WHWN he is not working, he goes and chats up his mother and doesn't even think of me. His mother does tell him to talk to me or something, but it's like talking to a brick wall at best. The last 2 days he hasn't been sleeping in our bed because I'm on my period. It's the first time this happened and it's really driving me up the wall. Divorce is not an option in my community, but damn do I regret agreeing to this marriage. TLDR, husband doesn't acknowledge me outside bedroom. He doesn't seem to acknowledge me outside the bedroom, and even if he does, it's to point out what I'm doing wrong around the house. Sometimes even I get confused as to what the state of the relationship is. Am I his wife or a servant for the house who he fucks occasionally? TLDR, husband doesn't acknowledge me outside bedroom. I'm sorry you're in this situation. I can't imagine being with someone who didn't seem to care for my feelings or respect me, particularly not at the age of 27. You're so young, and I'd strongly advise finding an alternative to spending the next 50 years with a guy who treats you like his combination maid and sex doll.